All right, so this is the Old Testament authorized King James Version. It's the Holy Bible. And inside we see a table of contents, pretty basic table of contents. You have the Old Testament and then you have the New Testament. So when you turn the page, you see the Old Testament authorized King James Version, the first book of Moses called Genesis. It says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness, blah, blah, blah. And okay, there's the first reference to water. There it is, in the face of the waters. And then he says, and God said, let there be light. And then there was light. So we're talking about water and sun right there on page 1. But the very next thing, he starts talking about firmaments, more about waters. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters the seas, and God saw that it was good. The next sentence, page 1, says, God said, let the earth bring forth grass. There it is, comma, the herb yielding seed. Okay, so now we've seen on the very first page of the Bible, the first book of Moses called Genesis, we see reference to grass and herb yielding seed. Okay, interesting. Okay, so first reference is there, and then we see reference to fruit. And the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed, presumably the fruit seed, is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass. Here's again another reference on the first page of the Bible to grass, comma, and herb yielding seed. Again another reference to the term herb, yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Again seeing another reference to this phrase, and it was good. Book of Genesis, God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl. First reference to fowl, F-O-W-L, that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Then there's a reference to whales and other living creatures and every winged fowl after his kind. And here we see this phrase again. And God saw that it was good. So now we've seen sunlight, we've seen water, we've seen grass, we've seen fowl introduced, and God sees that these things are good. And fruit as well. So it's almost like he's carving out a diet, or a water and sunlight and grass and fruit and fowl. And he further, on the second page of the Bible, it says, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Okay, so again another reference to fowl on the second page of the Bible in chapter 1. And then we see the first introduction of cattle. And God said, let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle. So the way I see that is that's the first introduction now of diet. In the very next paragraph, dominion. God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, presumably all of the other things referenced before, fruit, sun, light, water, grass, herb. Man's going to have dominion over everything that creepeth upon the earth. And then he talks about making male and female, and multiply and be fruitful. And then he makes reference again to herb bearing seed on the face of the earth, and every tree and fruit yielding, and to every beast of the earth, to every fowl of the air. We're coming to the close of chapter 1 of the book of Genesis. And then he says at the bottom, wherein there is life, I have given every, here it is, green herb for meat. And it was so. So here we see the first reference in the very first chapter of the Bible, chapter 1, we see references to grass and herb, and here we see more specifically a reference in the second page of the Bible to green herb. And he says, and it was so. And then to close out the chapter 1, it says, and God saw everything that he had made, presumably including the green herb he had referenced before, and behold, it was very good. So, and then, it says, and the evening and the morning were the sixth day, and the chapter 1, first chapter of the Bible, ends after making reference to, for the very first time, the phrase, it was very good. All the other references, which were about half a dozen at least, say, and it was good. This is the first time it says, and it was very good, just one sentence after referencing green herb. So it begs the question, if you ask a Californian right now what green herb is, what's their answer?